When you sign up for a class at NABOR, within a week's time prior to the class, you'll receive this email inviting you to the Zoom class. You can click on this link and it will take you to the class. But if you want to set it up in your calendar and set up a reminder, let me show you how that's done. Click on Add to Calendar. It will open up a box wanting to connect to either Outlook, your Google Calendar, or Yahoo Calendar, whatever one that you're using. Once you're connected to your calendar, you're going to want to hit Save, and this will save all the information to your calendar. You also will want to set up a 30-minute reminder so that you're reminded 30 minutes before the class starts. Hit Save. Now when you come back to your calendar, you'll see that the Zoom meeting is now available in your calendar. Click on it, and it's the same information that was provided before.
To check your settings in the Zoom app, you're going to go to the app. If you have the app, it's going to look like this, a little blue square with a camera in it. So you can check your camera settings here. You're going to go to the little cog there, and then you can go into your video settings. So this is going to show you what you're going to look like on camera. You can also adjust for low light. So another thing to look for is just to make sure you can see yourself in the video. Now there are some different backgrounds and filters that are available, but your computer has to have the right speed. I think it's a memory speed thing. So if you have this checkbox that says you have a green screen, it means you must have a green screen in order to use the virtual background as this computer does. So let's just check that box and see what it looks like. I don't have a green screen behind me, so when I click on any of the virtual backgrounds, I blend into them. Can't really see me. So if you're in a CE class, you can't use the backgrounds if you have this checkbox that says you have a green screen.
When you're ready to go to your Zoom class, you have two options to get there. One, you can go from the email that was sent to you, and it says click here to join. Click on that link. It will open up the Zoom program, and then you're going to click on Open Zoom Meeting. And now you're in the Zoom meeting. The other option is you can go to your calendar, and it will be listed on your calendar, and you'll click on that link, and then you'll see the same information, and you'll click on the link in your Zoom calendar. If you don't have the Zoom app installed, you want to click Launch Meeting, and you're in the meeting.
Okay, once you're in the Zoom, you should be able to see the speaker on the screen, and you'll see the chat button, the raise hand, and the Q&A. And then you'll see audio settings as well. So you're going to click the up arrow next to audio settings and check where your speaker is. Sometimes it'll be a headphone set, sometimes it's going to be your computer output. And you won't really have a microphone setting if you're in the webinar as a panelist. Now, if you're in a regular webinar, you'll just be an attendee the whole time. If you're in a CE class, you're going to want to keep the chat open. So if your Zoom is in full screen mode, the chat just pops up in the middle of the page. If that's distracting to you, you can always hit the escape key to exit full screen mode, and then the chat will be on the right-hand side. So I'm going to send a chat to Melissa now to have her put me in as a panelist so that you can see what it looks like when I promote you to panelist for a CE class, and we'll go over how to turn on your video. So you'll see that screen that you're being promoted to panelist, and then you'll pop back in the Zoom. See that you're at the top there? And then Wade is also a panelist. So this is going to be what it looks like for a CE class. Now at the bottom here, you can unmute yourself so you can talk, or you'll mute yourself there. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Wade. And then also for the video, this is where you're going to see your video settings. So you're going to choose your camera. And again, the virtual backgrounds are only for those that are able to use them. You have to have certain computer settings in order for you to not blend into the background. So if I were to choose a virtual background, this computer needs a green screen. So if I check that box and I use a virtual background, and then I exit there, you're going to see that I look really strange. So if it's a CE class and we need to see you in class and your virtual background looks like this, please don't use one. All right, so we're going to click None, and it's back to just me in the office. Okay, so Melissa's going to screen share, so you'll see what it looks like when there's an actual presentation. Now you see the 3 video thumbnails on top. You can also click view in the top corner here. So it can be speaker view, which is what we're in now, and Melissa's the speaker, so she's the large screen. Or you can click gallery. It shows everybody all at once. And then I'll show you what it looks like once Melissa shares her screen. There we go. So the presentation is going to be on the left-hand side. Now, it puts it back into full screen mode again. And if it's a CE class, you need to watch the chat. So again, you're going to press your escape key. To take it out of full screen mode, you can make it bigger by dragging your screen over. And then you're going to click the chat again. So the chat will come up here. You can also click participants to see a list of the participants in the room if you like. It's not really necessary, but you can have it there. And then the chat window will always be here. It's important to keep the chat window open so that if someone sends you a chat because you're missing from the frame, or the frame is pointed up at your ceiling or down at your feet, you will be able to see that and make adjustments. Now, if there are 200 people in the room, which sometimes there can be, we do get very full classes, this side panel here with all the thumbnails will have a down arrow at the bottom or an up arrow at the top, and you can page through all the people. What does that mean? It means everybody can see you and you can see everybody else. So just make sure that you are behaving properly during the class because everybody can see you. Also, if for some reason you're questioning whether or not I can see you for CE credit, if there's 200 people in the room, it's going to be very difficult for me to scroll through everyone. So just find your thumbnail. Here I am. There's Melissa and there's Wade. So your name will be in the bottom corner. Typically, you're going to be right near the speaker in the list. If you're not, just page through the list until you find yourself, and then you can see whether or not you're on screen. A couple other things that you can do. You see these 2 little lines here? It's a slider bar. You can make the speakers larger or the presentation larger. Typically, you're going to want the presentation to be larger so that you can see the materials on the screen. If you need to raise your hand, there's a little raise your hand button down here, and that will put a little hand on your screen. Once the speaker has acknowledged you or answered your question, they can lower your hand. They just click on your little thumbnail and click lower hand, and then the little hand disappears, and you're back to normal. If you are in a webinar, you can use the Q&A to type questions in. If everybody is a panelist because it's a CE class, the Q&A then does not work. So you'll type your questions in the chat. You can choose from all panelists and attendees, or you can send a direct message to just one person, and they are the only person that will see it. Or you can send a message to everyone. Just type in good morning, and then everybody will see it in the chat. So again, you're going to want to keep an eye on that chat so that you can make sure that you are on camera. Take a look at yourself in the camera and make sure that you are where you're supposed to be. Good morning, NABOR webinar. Okay, so again, your microphone is in the bottom corner here. You click the up arrow if you need to see what microphone and what speaker system you're using. A lot of times people will say, I can't hear the speaker, and that's typically because your audio settings need to be adjusted. Mine is currently on my headset, so if I'm not wearing the headset, I cannot hear Melissa. And that happens sometimes if you have a headset that you use for other things, and then you put the headset down and you forget to adjust your audio settings. So you can have it as the headset, or you can have it as the speakers for your computer. It's always best to join on a laptop or a desktop with a webcam. It's much more difficult. It won't look the same on a mobile device or an iPad or a tablet of sorts. And I think that is it for everybody. When you're ready to leave the webinar, you just click leave at the bottom. When it's over, the host will end the meeting for everybody, and then you'll just see that everyone has been logged out. And I think that's it, so I'm going to leave the webinar.